First of all, just ignore this. I'm getting new glasses at the end of this month. What are you saying no to? So we're doing scary stories 7. Everybody's been asking where you send these stories to. There's only one email that I have for the stories, and it's in my Instagram bio, and it will always be there. It is not the business email, it is the send your stories to. The email is HOMONICAstories@gmail.com. I think I looked these stories up for the month of June for Pride. Peep the hat, guys. Goober, go have your heart disease somewhere else.
You know, yesterday I hallucinated someone really tall with like messed up hair right there, like just looking around at my desk.
Lily, shut the f up, because all last night there's been shit falling on my room.
Well, that one's just because of your room.
A few things fell in my room.
Like your glasses right now?
This story is from Paul. A couple of years ago, when my brother was still living with my family, he kept telling us of a D word in his closet. He claims that the D word would try to mess with him, to the point where one night, my brother heard someone walking back and forth in the living room when everybody was asleep. I believed him since my brother was not the type to lie, but all my sisters have had dreams of the D word, to where one day we all spoke about it. But I have a theory that it is our inner demons. My older sister got pregnant at 16. My brother was associated with the gang at a young age. My sister had depression, and I'm gay. That's actually so sad.
That is really sad.
I feel that our sins made something that is hiding in my closet. It's a little deeper than...
Is depression a sin?
No.
Then what the f is this?
Neither is being gay. I feel that our sins made something that is hiding in my closet. What is scary is that I had a sleep paralysis dream about the D word. My brother did not tell me about the D word until after I was telling everybody about my dream. I was floating in the air, and in the corner of my bedroom I can see a black figure sitting down laughing at me. It was no regular laugh. It sounded horrid, yet it did not sound sinister. This started to freak me out, so I told my dad about it. He said that long ago his brother was cursed by a witch because his brother pimp slapped the witch because he did not want her. Allegedly, she cursed my dad's brother and all of the male figures in his family, along with the male kids in the future. I forgot what the curse was since I no longer communicate with my father, but if I remember correctly, it had to deal with none of the male figures will reach their hopes and dreams by the age of 18. Well, I'm still here, lol, but I still think about the D word because till this day, I had a dream where the figure popped up and it was trying to consume me. I know that this isn't considered to be scary, but it's just the thought that anything is possible in the past, present, and the future. Thank you for listening. Love your content.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Am I supposed to feel bad for the guy that got cursed for hitting a woman, or?
For real. You could have just said no. You didn't have to.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to say, first of all.
Yeah, I'm not homophobic. Oh.
First of all, being gay is not a sin. It's...
Are you sweating on me?
And depression is not a sin, okay? So don't think that it is.
You want to know why? Because neither of those are a choice.
Yeah.
If it was a choice, y'all some sinners.
But thank you for your story. That is scary. Blue has had feelings too.
She probably wouldn't have even cursed him if he said no.
Go say sorry.
Apologize to her.
Hi, Monica. My name is Maita. You can call me M. You could have just said M.
That's what they just said.
I'm from the United Arab Emirates, Dubai/Abu Dhabi, if you're not familiar with it. Our country is fairly new. It became an official country in 1971 and grew into a modern country that it is now. My mom was born in the early 60s, and by then people were still living in small houses in tents in the desert with no electricity or water supply. They had wells. They lived a very simple life in the desert. Once, my mom was about 5 years old. She was playing under a tree a few feet away from where her parents sat to drink coffee in the afternoon. It was probably 3-ish or 4 p.m. While my mom was playing under the tree, a small boy about the same age as her approached her. He asked her for some dates. She thought he was the neighbor's kid. She told him to go away because he was almost naked, wearing only thin shorts. He asked her again, Please give me some dates. She told him, go home, your mom probably has some. He asked a third time, please, can I have a drop of water at least? My mom looked at him. He looked so dehydrated and tired. She went back to where her parents were sitting and told her mom that the neighbor's kid was asking her for dates and water. My grandmother, my mom's mom, looked at her funny. She told my mom she saw the neighbor take his son with him and they were traveling somewhere and won't be back till the winter season. My grandmother then told my grandfather about what my mom saw. He told her that under that tree, a little boy years ago died of dehydration in the desert. My mom would never admit to ghosts and the paranormal, but I know she saw so many things when she was young. Living in the desert meant that after the sun set, it was only darkness, and I don't know what else she might have seen when she was young.
I just waved like this, and I meant like a queen hi, like hi. like that, but I don't know if that's offensive, so I'll put that.
It's kind of racist, Nelly. Yeah, I feel so bad.
That's really sad for that little boy.
Am I tripping, or somebody told me a story about somebody that shows up at people's houses?
I remember I told this scary story to Vanessa. She started crying because I scared her so bad when she was younger. It was the one where I was saying that some little girl would like come to people's houses when it was like a snowstorm, and she would beg them to come inside and they wouldn't let her, and she kept asking and asking, and then someone like offered them like gold and like all this stuff, and they let them in, but not that little girl that was like little. Not the little girl that was like little. They wouldn't let her in, but they let someone else that had wealth and offered them stuff, right? She knocked one last time and was like, "Can I please just get a glass of water?" And they're like, "Okay." And then when they come back to open the door, she's like, that's the scary story. Vanessa started crying when I told her that. She started crying and we couldn't tell scary stories anymore.
Thank you, Maita. This is from Nicole. There's a boy that I've liked for about 3 years now, and I've tried multiple love spells and contact spells for him to like me. But ever since I've started these spells, me and my family have started seeing more and more dead birds around our house. I also found just the head and the wing of a bird in my backyard, and they aren't your regular pigeon. The only birds we've been finding are blue jays and white birds, like doves. My family thinks nothing of it, but I think I might have messed with something that I shouldn't have. I might have did something wrong. I've also not been able to sleep at night, like there's a presence that won't leave me alone. I do not share my room. When I'm up late on my phone, I hear things in my room fall over, but I get too scared to check. So in the morning when I wake up, I see nothing on the floor, like it was all in my head. I have a feeling that you're very young.
I also have a feeling that that kid is probably well protected. And if you failed the first 10 times, that's when you stop, ma'am. It's never worth it. Even if you get the love that you want, the obsession and the craziness that comes with it does not seem worth it.
It's not even real, is it?
Love spells? That's
love
real?
spells are real, but the love isn't really real.
Yeah, it's
you're
not
forcing
real.
somebody
It's
to like
obsession.
you.
You're like, it's literally taking advantage of someone. That's the... Bro, I'm protected 10 times more. That shit will go 10 times worse to them. I personally think that... I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, that was kind of mean. Then cut that out. Wait, let's say something normal.
I don't like to judge you guys, ever. Like, we poke fun at each other. But don't do that.
Maybe something's protecting you from that because you never know how far love spells can go. Like,
he's not the one.
Make self-love jars. Love yourself
Make
first.
self-love?
No, like make self-love candles. Like,
oh, I mean, I'm not gonna judge nobody. Just somebody out there for everyone. All right, good luck, Nicole. A long story of events. This is from Lexi. My name is Lexi and I live in Chicago, Illinois. And a few years back, I lived in a house with just my mother and twin sisters as my parents were separated at the time. One day, when me and my sisters got back from school, we were eating tamales in the kitchen when the doorbell rang, and only the back door had a working doorbell. But when I checked to see who it was, no one was there. And I even asked my sisters if they had heard the bell ring, and they said they did. Then my dog in my room started to bark, growl, and scratch at the floor in my bedroom. We were confused and he finally stopped. The next day, we let our dog play in the backyard, and when we went to call him inside, he was gone. We searched everywhere for him, and there were no signs of any break-ins, etc. It was painful to not know where he had gone, and ever since, weird things started to happen. I would wake up in the middle of the night for no reason, and hear something heavy running on all fours up the stairs from the basement, which was next to my bedroom. I'd always slept with my door closed, and I would hear the thing run back and forth from the kitchen to the living room. And then it seemed to stop in front of my door, and it knocked. I was so scared to move, and then a male voice said, "Lexi, open the door. Let me in."
ew. I feel like that's the scariest thing to hear something on all fours. Oh, hell no.
Ew. My aunt's name is Nelly. My aunt's name is Nelly, and her boyfriend's name is
Stop! Let me see.
Payback, bitch. It sounded like no one I have ever heard before, and it kept repeating the words over and over again, but I did nothing because I was too scared. I ran to turn on the light, and for the next 2 weeks, my mother would get mad at me for keeping the lights on all night. I had nightmares, and one of them was of me and my friend looking down the basement stairs, where a thing that looked like a skeleton with skin screeched and ran up the stairs on all fours. Before he could reach us, I slammed the door shut and woke up. only to have sleep paralysis. The only light source was coming from the street light outside my window, and I had a full view of my room. I had a pile of laundry at the foot of my bed, and I just looked around my room and saw that there was a piece of cloth in the corner of my room between my closed door and wall. I was drawn to the piece of clothing because I was confused as to why it wasn't in the pile that was against the same wall and in front of me. Suddenly, the piece of clothing was no longer small, and instead it stood up into what I can only describe to look like those people that put a cover over their heads and cut holes in it to look like ghosts on Halloween. Except this figure was black and had no shape to it. There were no cuts in the eyes as they glowed red and had no pupils. The thing stared at me and walked sideways until it stood on top of the pile of clothes right in front of me and suddenly fell right into the other pieces of clothes. After a few minutes, I was able to move, but for weeks on, I couldn't sleep from being randomly woken up by the man that walked in the hallway. Many other things occurred in that house, and I'm convinced it followed me into my new one. What? You heard that? No. No, you heard that?
You're more scared than me.
You literally wake up randomly in the middle of the night and say, Monica!
No, I never
Yes,
have.
you do, and then I have to open the curtain.
When? Don't scare me like that, because I've never
You
done
have.
that.
Shut up.
I swear to God, I've never done that.
Oh, yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
You've done it a couple times.
Monica, I swear on everything, I
And
have
then
never
what
done that. I swear.
No, wait.
When the fuck have I ever done that?
Okay, you're scaring me.
This bitch is scary. Lexi, what the fuck?
In 1977, in the town of Dover, Massachusetts, there was a random influx of sightings of a skinny creature with gray skin and a head like an alien. Its fingers were long and its eyes glowed orange in the darkness. Several witness accounts conjured similar sketches of the creature, almost identical to each other. The Dover D-word stands on two legs, but prefers to travel on all fours. Though there was a spike in sightings during the 1970s, modern sightings were uncommon until recently, as it was last spotted in February of 2020. Nothing wrong with a little exorcism in your house.
What do you do when you're in sleep paralysis to get out of it?
I literally probably only last like 30 seconds in a sleep paralysis dream. I'm built different. I literally just tell myself this is literally fake, like I'm awake. Because I feel like when I didn't know about what sleep paralysis was, your mind just goes to the scariest thing that you can possibly think of. Like you're like, oh, what if I see a face? Obviously a face is gonna pop up. And I'm just like, oh my god, this shit is fake, like, and then I wake up.
Mine be
What
lasting
about
for a while. I like
Why? What do
close
you
my
see?
eyes. I never see anything. If anything, I feel stuff like either pulling my legs up or like pulling me off the bed, like things like that. I remember one time I woken up to my leg in the air because I felt something pulling it up.
Maybe you thought you were playing soccer.
But I don't know why. One time I had a sleep paralysis dream. It was so bad. Remember when I told you that I had a dream but I literally had sleep paralysis dream after dream. Like I wasn't waking up. It was just dream and dream. And then I was laying on a mattress in your room and I just feel something biting my arms and I could feel it in real life. Like my arms were hurting when I woke up.
Shut the f
Yes,
up.
I felt like some
On
things
the
were
floor?
biting me. Yes, like the mattress
You were
on the floor. In my dream, the mattress is on the floor.
Like little bites?
Yeah, I guess in the dream me and Andre were cuddling and then literally, well, I don't mean this. We were cuddling and then literally started biting my arm.
Maybe it was Andre.
But then
You know
I
what?
woke up and I thought I woke up and then I thought I was actually awake and I felt my mom like moving a lot like this. And I was like, damn, this bitch has sleep paralysis too. And then I turn around, that bitch is having a seizure in my dream. And then I woke up and I started crying and I told my mom. And I scooted closer to her because...
Okay, but you want to know something?
What?
Because I thought you were on the floor in real life. But supposedly you're not supposed to have your mattress on the floor because then the duendes get you.
You were having me sleep on the floor for like
And
a week.
Little bites.
You know I used to hear
Tonantzin.
chains a lot
Stop,
when I was younger.
Stop.
What-
So this one I found very, very interesting. And I just want to say ahead of time, like, no offense to Chris.
Don't even say it. If you have to say no offense,
No
it's gonna be
offense to
offensive.
Chris. But what the fuck?
That's a whole essay.
4 pages, but I'm gonna skim through it and
No, I want to hear the whole thing.
My name is Chris, and I'm going to be telling you a paranormal/romance story
Aw.
that happened to me around the age of 11. And I'm 13 now. Hope you like it.
I don't want to hear it.
Who's Philip? What? Philip on these nuts. As a kid growing up,
You're still a kid. Keep going.
life wasn't easy. I wasn't your typical white Latino. I had dark skin and an afro. Because me and my mom are the only people in our family with melanin and hard hair. And there's nothing wrong with that. The other Latinos kids, they would call me freak, cochino, and many racist slurs. A black friend of mine came to school one day to give me something. He called up to me and opened up his backpack to reveal a cream. I asked what it was. He said it was lighting cream to make your skin a bit lighter to resemble a true Latino.
I just want to say, FYI, if you have ever made anybody feel bad for their skin color, you are a piece of shit.
Also, if you make fun of people for One day I came home and did my thing, but I felt this immense burning sensation on my hip. I looked at it. My hip was bleeding and burning and the skin was peeling. I didn't know what to do. I went into the bathroom again and rinsed it. The pain while washing it was unbearable.
I got out crying. I was able to make it to my room. Then I just passed out in there. I woke to dead silence. No sound was in sight, but the burning sensation was gone. I lifted up my towel to see what was up with it. It was patched with a little small white towel on my burnt hip. I looked at it in the mirror and it was washed and covered in fusidin. What is that?
What is fusidin?
Here's some information.
Pasta.
After that, I stopped using the cream. I gave it back to my friend, and I still didn't know who fixed me up since no one was home for the next hour. One Saturday night, after I finished my homework, super late, I fell asleep on the couch while watching some Family Feud, but my sisters were asleep and my parents were out for their anniversary. They didn't come around 2 in the morning or 1 a.m. It was around 11 p.m. I was falling asleep. I was tossing and turning until I found a perfect position to sleep in. But as soon as my eyes closed, a few minutes after, I felt someone rub their cold hand on my face. I found it very comforting. I was mid-awake when I felt like I was being held, like when you fall asleep on the couch and your parent carries you to your room. I was still asleep but awake at the same time. I felt like I was about to fall. I woke up in the bedroom at 9 a.m. I was shocked. I didn't know who or what had brought me to my room. Months after, I started to have dreams about a boy around the age of 17. He had the most beautiful smile, the perfect color of eyes, and soft yet fluffy blonde hair and fair color of skin. I would wake up every morning to the feeling of being watched. Ow, you sweaty.
Ask Nelly if she has another hat.
About a few weeks later, this was the time I started to question my sexual identity. I felt an attraction to the same sex and had vivid dreams about him. One night when I was about a 17-year-old?
I didn't even read that part.
On my teacher, I once fell asleep. 12, 13, 14,
schooler.
15, 16, 17. That's 6 years. He's 11 in this story. I look up to see the same guy I was seeing in my dreams was standing right in front of me. The boy was walking away. I ran after him and I yelled out, "Wait!" He stopped in his tracks and said, "You can see me?" I didn't know what to say. My body was frozen. I don't know what he would respond. I looked him dead in his soft, beautiful, blue, sexy eyes. It doesn't say that. He looked at me and touched the place where I felt, oh. I gasped lightly and woke up. My mom was still not there. I don't want to read this. I don't want to read this.
One night, I felt his presence near me. I asked why he had appeared to me. He said, "We met on July 5th in the year 1807. The War of the British in Buenos Aires was still going on. I forgot when it finished. You were a slave for my parents and me, but I fell in love with you. Instead of falling in love with a woman, I fell in love with a guy. But rumors were going around saying that you did some voodoo or some Latin witchcraft on me. We will be moving to Maryland, but before we moved, we met at our secret place, and I will say I love you for eternity. That when the Guardians came and took you away, I shot you in your eye. That's why you have a scar next to your eye." But it was too late. They found a box in your room that said it wasn't brujeria, but it was actually real love, and you had tuberculosis. And when
Take it off!
Why would you come back when the motherfucker is 11?
That's grooming to me. I don't know. Shame. Shame. Not for being gay. But
This made me homophobic. Just kidding.
me too.
Okay, but for real, thank you for sending that in. You were very creative for a 13-year-old. Hey Monica, whoever else is there. My nickname is Kai, and I'm a First Nations person from Canada. This story is what my Nana told me that had happened to her dad when she was younger. So my great-grandpa was a hunter, and he was a really good tracker, so he knew where all the spots in the bush to hunt, and he never got lost before. One day, he was coming back from the bush behind their house smoking tobacco, until he noticed that he was walking in huge circles for like an hour. Like I said, he was a good tracker and knew the pathway to get home. He was still trying to process the situation until he saw 3 little people, about 1 foot high, sitting on a fallen log, laughing at him. He knew what they were since his parents before him told him the stories when he was younger. He didn't know what they wanted or why they didn't let him leave the bush, until one of them spoke and said, "Leave your tobacco on that tree stump." Without hesitation, he left his tobacco on the stump, and then he found his way back to the house. This was back in 1954, I believe.
Are you sure he was smoking tobacco, love? Just kidding.
You wanted that good?
That good?
So my Nana had this neighbor that had a son around her age. They would always play with each other until the boy stopped coming over to her house to play. His mother said to my Nana's mother that he said to her that when he goes to play in the bush, there's this little person that he would play with. After that, his mom told him to stay away from the little person and never go into the bush alone. Ignoring what she said, the boy walked into the bush to see the nibby nabby. His mother recalled it was about an hour since she noticed that he was gone. Thinking that he would be back anytime soon, she just continued cooking. He didn't come back for supper, and after that she started to get worried. She speculated that he went into the bush to play with the nibby nabby, so she got her husband to check in the bush. Her husband came back to the house not even 5 minutes later and told her. When I walked into the bush, I saw his footprints and these tiny little footprints right beside him. The boy was never seen again.
Did they just leave it like that? They were just like, yeah, I couldn't find him. Like, what happened? Was there a search? Like, what? Scary.
From what I could find online, the Nibby Nabe are water sprites which are closely related to elves and fairies, as they are all guardians of nature. Water sprites specifically are elemental guardians of bodies of water and any nature surrounding. Their energy is felt usually near fast-moving shallow water, and they tend to be very playful. But I'll remind you guys that this happens actually very often, where a kid is no longer found after being in contact with one of these beings. In fact, there are several stories that have been emailed that all end the same way, where someone is never seen again. I'd always wondered what use children would have to such powerful beings, but there are several theories, some of them being the kids are used as servants, raised as a fairy, some even returning to the human world as witches, but sometimes the child was killed, maybe even eaten. Okay, that's it. I don't want to read anymore. You just covered up my part, thank you. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the support on the merch.
She's been working on categorizing all the stories because she doesn't like being unorganized, and also that bitch is slow as so she's only reading 2 stories at a time, and also she hates pre-reading the stories by herself because she's a wussy.
How do you just lie like that? I don't do that.
You don't do that?